A brand strategy is a long-term plan for the evolution of a brand and the growth in its brand equity. Your brand strategy needs to align with your wider business strategy. And in creating your brand strategy, there are 8 components that I think we need to consider. First is your brand's promise. What does it promise to your customers? And what are the goals, the objectives, the mission, and the vision behind your brand? Second is emotion, because all buying decisions are emotional decisions. We provide facts and data and evidence to support the strength of our products and services because people need to be able to justify their decisions, but fundamentally, those decisions are going to be emotional. So the 2 questions are, firstly, what emotions do you want to evoke when people think of your brand? And secondly, how are you going to go about evoking those emotions? Third is consistency. You need to make sure that as many as possible of your brand elements are represented consistently. But which ones do you most need to reinforce? And how will you do so? How will you maintain brand consistency across your whole network of business partners involved in promoting your brand? And fourth, crucially, is flexibility, because too much consistency can leave your brand feeling stale and outdated. So how will you riff off of your branding to keep it feeling fresh and vibrant and up to date? And crucially, how will you do this and yet make sure you stay true to the core brand value? This is the hard balancing act that every organisation faces as it tries to keep a long-standing brand fresh and relevant to new generations of consumers. Fifth, we have employee involvement. How will you engage your employees, your colleagues, as ambassadors for your brand? And this goes beyond enforcing consistency in the use of your brand assets. It's more about authenticity towards your brand values. Sixth, we have brand loyalty. And creating brand loyalty is the ultimate goal of your brand strategy. And the reason is obvious. You want your customers to default to buying products with your brand before even considering the merits of the products provided by your competitors. But you do need to keep an eye on your competitors, so 7th is a competitor analysis. You need to keep up to date with your understanding of what's going on in the market and what your competitors are doing, and who are the new emerging competitors, possibly with radically different approaches to supplying the customer needs that up to now have been met by products with your brand. As these new organizations start to emerge and thrive, you need to keep your brand at the forefront of your customers' perceptions and also ensure that their regard for your brand remains high, thus maintaining brand loyalty and, critically, brand equity. And finally, I believe that sometimes your brand strategy will need to address the difficult problem of extending your brand. Because sometimes your brand will reach its potential. There will be no more scope for any significant growth. When this happens, you have 4 options. And your brand strategy needs to identify which of those options you're going to pursue and chart out the route. Option 1 is to extend your product line. New products with the same branding that perhaps offer different sizes, different scales, additional functionality, different colorways. Extending your product line can grow your brand. Option 2 is to add new product categories to your brand. Apple has been a great example of this over the years. Initially, the brand was all about computers, and then it was about iPods, and then it was about phones. And what's the most recent thing? AirTags. And who knows what will be next for a brand that now encompasses things like headphones, tablet devices, and watches. Your third option is to redevelop existing products under a new brand. Sometimes this is about taking your existing branded products, stripping the branding off them, changing the level of specification and re-releasing them under a new brand. And finally, if you genuinely believe your brand has reached its limit of growth, your fourth option is to launch a new brand to run alongside the old one. But remember, with both of these last two options, it's critical that within your strategy, you identify how you are going to ensure that the newly branded products or the new brand do not cannibalize sales and profitability and customer loyalty from your existing brand. So, there are 8 things that we should be considering within a brand strategy. And as a manager within any organization, you need to be aware that all of this is going on. So please do give us a like if you've learned from this video. There'll be loads more great management courses content to come, so please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and in the meantime, keep learning.